Day 19, guys, you are doing so well. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a pose called Purvottanasana, which basically means front of the body stretch. It's really amazing. It is weight bearing onto the wrists, so I'm going to show you a couple of different variations and we'll see how we go from there. So what I want you to do is come into a seated position first on your mat, taking your sit bones out from underneath you. As always, anytime you sit down, take your seat out from underneath you. And I just want you to take a little lean back. So just somewhere that's comfortable with your fingers facing forwards. And again, spread the fingers as wide as they can possibly go. So I'm going to show you the first variation. Because this is a really nice stretch, it's a really good lifting right into the chest, and it's just such a lovely kind of upward flying energy. It's a really uplifting pose. So with your hands, you're firmly placing down into all of the fingers. I want you to point into the toes and just gently rotate your knees inwards a little bit, almost like you were kind of squeezing the inner thighs together. And from here, we're going to take a little bend into the elbows, and then we're going to start to lift the chest and the chin and really lifting up into the shoulder blades. So again, it's almost like that kind of beaming upward energy with the chest, keeping the lips closed. Dropping the head back slightly, but not all the way back. It's more of an uplifting. And I want you to just work here for a couple of breaths, still squeezing the legs together, pointing into the toes, and really lifting up into that front part of the body. Now, if you want to come a little further into the full position after a few breaths or after a couple of days of practicing just your first position here, what you can do is take your knees bent and just take your feet flat onto the floor about hip distance apart. So what this is going to allow you to do is get the lift without using the full strength. Okay, so we start in the same way. We take a little bend into the elbows, lifting up through the chest. You're squeezing the shoulder blades together but down, and then you're going to start to press down into all four corners of your feet and lifting right up through the hips. So again, the head isn't just falling back, you're getting that lovely stretch to the front part of the body. Once you're here in tabletop position, just be sure that you're not kind of leaning into the outside edges of your feet or too much into the insides. Your feet there are hip distance, therefore your knees should be hip distance. And you can start to aim here and start to work on getting your hips and your knees and your shoulders in line, without losing that opening into the chest, always squeezing the shoulder blades back and down. Now, after you've worked on that for a couple of days, and maybe you want to come a little bit further, if it does get a little bit sore onto the wrists, what I always do is just give them a little squeeze round in the opposite direction and then turn around again once I'm ready. So we're going to go for the full lift this time. It is quite strong. And again, it's something that you can work on. We want to really work on opening up the chest. Don't worry too much about getting the height. It's more about that kind of opening and rounding into the front part of the body. So our hands are stable, our feet are turned, pointing out in front, our knees are kind of knocking in towards each other. We're squeezing the inner thighs. We're going to lift the chest first. And as the chest lifts, we're going to start to lift up into the hips. And we're going to aim these tootsies to get right down onto the mat as much as you possibly can. Now, once you're in the lift again, you can start to drop the head back should you wish. But as long as you are aiming the chest up nice and high, squeezing the shoulder blades together at the back, and most importantly, of course, that you're actually breathing in that position. There's absolutely no point in you lifting up and just kind of holding yourself really stiff like that, which admittedly is what I did probably for the first few years of practicing that pose. It's only now that I can get up there and get a few breaths and actually really enjoying that opening motion. So I hope you guys enjoy that one. Have a fabulous day, and I'll see you tomorrow.